so lovely to be here tonight. What a beautiful life. Give yourself some round of applause. You're so lovely.
You may have heard the announcement that as of right now, Ava DuVernay's Netflix series When They See Us is the most watched show on Netflix ever since it debuted on May 31st, which is a tremendous accomplishment. And I think it's a testament to the filmmaking, to the remarkable performances by all of the cast and just everyone that put their talent into making that story come to life, because of course it is an important story and one that we should never forget. Despite the fact that it is the most watched show on Netflix, believe it or not, I've still seen opinions circulating about whether or not people should watch a series like this or whether we should continue to make a series like this. Now, I do understand the people who, because of how powerful the images are and how sensitive the story is, because a lot of people, just like the young men that went through this, a lot of people have seen it happen within their families, to themselves personally. So it's a very sensitive issue. So I completely understand anyone that doesn't watch it, because they may not be able to process it. I understand that completely, and I would never pressure someone like that to watch it. But I've seen another branch of thinking that I think is troublesome, and I want to kind of permanently throw some water on that. And that's the idea that a series like this is some form of sorrow porn, that is some kind of wallowing and an unnecessary rehashing of the past, and somehow showing an unwillingness to move forward. I completely disagree with that sentiment. And I don't think the people who express it, no matter how well-meaning they may be, understand how detrimental that opinion is to correcting wrongs like the Central Park Five. I won't rehash the story, but we all know they were convicted of a rape and attempted murder that they absolutely did not do. They were exonerated by DNA. That's the part that we all know. But what was dramatized in this series is a lot of what led up to that moment. And one thing that you can never discount is, no matter what you personally know, there's a lot of people who don't know their rights. They aren't aware of how to conduct themselves in a situation with the police. And then you factor into that the age of these kids at the time, but just people in general. You could have an adult right now that if they're sitting in an interrogation room, they're under stress, they don't know why they're there, they're being accused, they may very well say something or be coerced into saying something that's not true, because they don't know how to handle themselves. And that's for an adult. Because if you look at all the cases right now of people who've been convicted because they accepted a plea, a lot of those people accepted pleas for things that they did not do because they thought it was their only recourse. So the greater purpose of a series like When They See Us is to show you how that happens. So hopefully, if you ever find yourself or someone that you care about in a similar situation, you know a little bit more and you know what not to do. You know how to better avoid being put into the situation, like the sister of the one young man, Kevin, who somewhat participated in his in legitimizing his statement. She didn't do that out of malice. She did it because she didn't know any better. And when you show these type of images in a dramatic form like this, it reinforces that notion for people. So hopefully someone, they're not just sitting around watching and saying, oh, that's sad. They're saying, hey, if I encounter this situation in the future, I know what not to do. I know what I can do. When they watched the one kid's mother walk into the interrogation room and remove her son, a moment like that, again, this is in a movie, but a dramatization like that could very well lead someone in the future to realize in that moment that they too can do the same thing and that their minor can't be questioned. You can never really underestimate the impact of people seeing these things and seeing it in this fashion where it connects with them in such a visceral way. So I think this series is way more important than just telling an unfortunate slice of American history that's still relevant today. I think it's an opportunity for everyone to be more aware and to educate themselves. And I think that in its essence is the true power of filmmaking and all art in general, because it can transcend just being a rehash or just being a form of entertainment. It can be an actual tool, and it can affect society. And if you look at everything that's happening right now with Linda Fairstein, who was the prosecutor, who was very dogged in her insistence that these young men be swiftly convicted of something that they did not do. If you look at the way her life is being reevaluated now, she's been dropped by her publisher. Um, Now people are attempting to get other cases that she worked reopened and re-examined to make sure that anyone where we can prove that she also did not give them due process, to make sure that they're given a fair shake that they never received before. So you're watching the real world application of the lessons that people learn from watching this series. And again, that's the true impact of film. And I have to really tip my hat to the filmmaker, Ava DuVernay, and all the cast and crew. They did a wonderful job, because these stories, you cannot discount how important it is to keep reminding people. And a lot of people don't know that there was actually a documentary about this done about 7 years ago by Ken Burns, a very famous PBS documentarian. He also did a movie about the Central Park Five. But some people don't watch documentaries. Some people don't watch PBS. We can't take for granted that people need to be reminded of things, and sometimes they need to receive it in a different medium for it to resonate. So I say this to say congratulations to the cast and crew for not just doing a wonderful job, but for doing such an important job, and the fact that it's connected with so many people, because I believe we'll see real tangible benefits to a movie project like this. And I hope it encourages other filmmakers and artists to use the medium at its maximum capacity. To actually push society in the right direction, because I believe that's what the beauty of art is, and this is bringing it to life. So for anyone out there who thinks that this series is some form of sorrow porn or whatever other ridiculous euphemisms people were using, cut the nonsense out. Because even if you know every detail in and out of this case, a lot of people did not. A lot of people need to, and they need to see this. So if you have an issue with that, go about your business. But don't discourage people from participating in this, because it is important. And for anyone out there, who can handle it, please go watch it. Please have your friends watch it. And most importantly, white people, you should watch it. Because of course we watch it because it's the horror that happened to these young men, but it's the threat that we live under. But it's easier for certain people to avoid the reality of this because it's inconvenient for them. So encourage your white friends to watch this. It's not about guilt. It's not about assigning blame. It's about understanding the system that we live under and how it impacts the people around you. And until we are aware of that, we won't be able to implement the proper changes to make sure that it no longer works that way, and that it's actually fair and equitable for everyone. So if you haven't already, watch When They See Us on Netflix. It's the most watched show since May 31st. Watch it, recommend it to a friend, talk about it, take action. Let's continue to make art matter and keep pushing the needle in a positive direction. It's the least we owe all the people that sacrificed so much before us, and all the ones that are still making sacrifices right now. Congratulations to the cast and crew. You did a wonderful job. We needed this, and I hope that we continue to see the real benefits of spreading this kind of truth through the medium of film and entertainment. Thank you again. So